My name's Muss, and I've got a confession to make. This is the best Total War game I've played since Rome. It is brilliant. An excellent synthesis of Romance of the Three Kingdoms character building and Total War games conquest. It's about as harmonised a matchup as you could have asked for, and while it has its flaws, this is easily my game of the year so far. So for those of you who don't know, this is set in China about around 189 AD. Now 5 years prior, there was a bit of turmoil. Yellow Turban Rebellion, a huge peasant revolt because of taxes, basically, and famine, the usual. And the Han Empire wasn't really able to deal with it. So local warlords were granted increased autonomy, an unprecedented level of autonomy, and they put down the bulk of the Yellow Turban Rebellion. But there's more drama, my friends, because the Emperor, he died shortly after the Yellow Turbans were put down, presumably at the hands of his court eunuchs, and this enabled Dongzhuo and other powerful warlords to slaughter the eunuchs in riposte. Now Dongzhuo, he's sort of the most powerful northern warlord. You can see him down there in the bottom left of the map. It's still pretty north as far as China goes. And he basically forced the abdication of the 12-year-old heir to the empire for an 8-year-old, poisoned said 12-year-old, relocates the capital to Chong'an, a more defensible location, because the other warlords are pretty pissed. And we're one of those other warlords. We're playing as Gongsun Zan. He is a cavalry-focused general. I've never really played as him in any of the Three Kingdoms games before, so I thought I'd give him a go here. I know very little about him. But one of the things I really, really like about this game is the way it's captured that sense of character that the romance games by Koei and the Dynasty Warriors games are so good at doing. I mean, the Dynasty Warriors characters are obviously absurd caricatures, but there's a great sense of agency and heroism in the generals, and I think the battles in this game are one of the places where that's really shown off, because generals have always been useful in Total War games, even in, classic Rome. But in this game, they are about as close as they could have been to a Dynasty Warriors or a Romance of the Three Kingdoms games by Koei. They are heroes. They have a huge amount of influence on the battlefield, and there are lots of different types of generals. We are now witnessing Zhao Yun, who's my guy there in green. Got off to a pretty good start unhorsing this other chuffster. And we're engaging in a duel, which is obviously a new feature, and a very important and timely feature. It's cool. You obviously duel the other officer, and you can interrupt the duel either by having your men charge in, or they can have their men charge in. You have various passives and active abilities. We've only got passive ability because we're right at the start of the game. But as you can see, we're kicking this guy's ass. I mean, it's our health bar in green versus his in red. We're doing pretty well. I'm pretty confident that we're going to win. Zhao Yun is one of the absolute badasses of the Three Kingdoms period. So it would be a shock upset if he lost. And there you go. We've beaten him. So that's a huge boon for our army, because they are now completely without a commander. He's hightailing it out of here. So I tried to pull Zhao Yun back. Wasn't too successful. They had a couple of cavalry charges against us. I am a bit out of position, but it doesn't really matter, because we are vastly overpowered. This is always the case. You're way better than the opponents here, and this is a good opportunity to sort of see the strength of these generals. Like, yeah, I've lost a little bit of health, but we're able to really lay into these light cavalry units, which is cool. And obviously, better enemy generals will be as powerful as us, so it's not like it's just generals that decide everything. You still have, you know, positioning and the classic Rome stuff to worry about. I say Rome stuff, Total War stuff. It's just that you've got these super powered avatars on the field, which I think is nice. And there are lots of different types of generals. Zhao Yun is a champion, so he's just a badass at everything. Gongsun Zan is there with him supporting, and he's a vanguard general, which I believe means he's very effective against enemy troops, but not as effective against enemy generals. There are commander types who are effective against generals specifically and not other troops. There are strategists, there are all sorts. So I think, you know, they've done a really, really good job of capturing the kind of badassery, for lack of a better term, of the time period. So one of the things I also really enjoy, I've played, this is my second campaign now. I tried out these as the Yellow Turbans before. There's a good variety of units. You know, you've got different types of footmen, pikemen, swordsmen, people with shields, people without shields, various forms of cavalry, artillery, crossbows, regular bowmen. It's good. Like, there's a nice variety. I was worried that this game was going to feel a little bit like Shogun 2, in the sense that, yeah, you could choose ninjas and samurai and stuff, but mostly, to me, from memory, this is ages ago, everyone kind of felt the same. But that's not the case in this one. So a good decisive victory there, and in terms of our campaign goals, we are looking to unify the north, I think, as quickly as possible. We've got quite a large river to the south of us that's segregating us from the kind of the North Midlands of China, which I'm happy to keep as a nice defensive buffer. I think we're gonna release this guy. He wasn't that impressive, and money is at a premium in the early game, and this is one of the weaknesses of Gongsun Zan. Because he's got a lot of cavalry units, they're high upkeep compared to footmen or archers. So we've really got to focus on our economy. So taking this iron mine is going to help quite considerably. That's nice. A little bit of loot. We're just going to occupy it because we actually want what's in this mine. We don't want to destroy it or loot it. And we're going to go right ahead and upgrade it straight away. Now, there are 3 different types of income in this game. Although, having said that, I am recording. In case you couldn't tell, this isn't being done live. So, I don't know what I'm doing all the time. But here's me making a trade agreement with Gongsun Du. Now, we've opened a border with this guy that we didn't have before. And I'm going to sneakily haggle with him. I think I clicked the wrong thing. And on top of the trade agreement, which is going to be worth just under 300 per turn, he's going to, for the next 10 turns, be giving us a couple of hundred, I believe, coinage as well. So that's pretty great. I mean, it's basically doubling our income from what we started with at the beginning of the turn, which is so important when you know, starting on. I think if you can get a strong economy, you can snowball that into a sustainable large army and continued economic growth. So our objective here in the short term is to obviously follow that strategy, but we're also going to want to pick off all of those orange territories. You can see me targeting one there. Those are sort of remnants of the Han Empire, and it's almost free territory that's up for grabs. So we're going to go ahead and take as much of that as we can in the early game. There's a trade port over there, which is nice. That'll mean that we've got the entirety of the Yubei-Ping province under our control as soon as we've taken that. Now, to our west was Liu Dai. He is in control of, as you can see here, the other part of the commandant of, I think it's Yu Zhao? Can't tell now that we're zoomed out. But basically, we need that. The only way we're going to get that is through force, because we're going to want a unified province. Yeah, it is Yu Zhao. So I'm thinking, you know, we're going to take out these Han guys first because they're kind of remnants. They're not particularly organized. And then we're going to get cracking on to Liu Yu, not Liu Dai. So I'm pretty happy with the way things are going. I decided to upgrade the castle town. Now, food is a factor in this game. Not only do your armies require food and have their own supplies, we, you know, as settlements get upgraded to the size of a city and beyond, they start requiring food. When they're in the sort of town bracket, they don't drain your food resources. Currently, we are on a net 0 food, which you can see in the top left under our currency. Third from bottom. Or third from top, even. It's the one that's 0. We're going to want to improve that because as our territories expand, we're going to need a sustainable infrastructure. And the only place nearby is this Bohei trade port. So I'm kind of quickly cycling through turns here just to get to the conquest of this port. Nice and easy. And I'm also deliberately not fielding a second army. One of my missions, I think, is to field more units. I think it just popped up there. I will do that. We get a little bonus to recruitment reinforcement because when you recruit a unit, they don't start with a full retinue of soldiers. They have to draft the men in. So that's nice. But honestly, I want as much money as we can get so that we can just focus on that infrastructure and steamroll that into something better than spending a load of money on soldiers who aren't currently going to be doing anything. So I'm playing a little bit of a risky game because it's possible that the Han Empire could come out of the woodwork and bite us in the ass, because we've only got one standing army and it's all the way over there. But I think it's early enough in the game and the Han Empire are disorganized enough to where it's probably not going to be a problem. The same with Liu Yu. I mean, we start off with quite a negative relationship with him, I think, but he officially is our master, although we're not his vassal. So about every 5 turns, I think it is, you get to unlock a new reform. And this is effectively your tech tree. There are 5 sections. There's kind of a commercial sector in blue, agricultural in green, infrastructural in purple, militaristic in red, and bureaucratic in yellow. And because we got an iron mine, I can talk. Because we got an iron mine recently, I'm gonna focus on infrastructural improvements, I think. So I've basically unlocked a building that when you build it, it's an upgrade to an existing building we can already create, and it increases the amount of industrial revenue, which is going to be useful because later on we will build something which is in effect a multiplier for our industrial revenue.
1 turn later.
So this is a new event for me. It's a story-based event, and I like these events that crop up, mostly in the early part of the playthrough, but essentially we've got the option of attacking the Yu. Now, I'm not going to do that because he's our pseudo-master, and it would be seen at this stage as an act of betrayal, and trust is an important thing. I think unless you're Cao Cao or Cao Cao, you don't get to have that back. You're either good and honorable or you're not. So we're going to go with the other alternative, which is also the one that progresses the story, which is to declare war on Hanfu and ingratiate ourselves to Yuan Shao, who is the other major player in the north, our part of the north anyway. It's going to be between me and him as to who controls the north ultimately. But if we can ingratiate ourselves to him now, maybe that opens up more safe opportunities for us to attack our unfortunate neighbours. Nonetheless, I think now our economy's feeling pretty good. Now is the time to start building up that archer retinue and put ourselves in a position to securely take the fishing port to the south, but also deal with any potential threats inbound. So I might also recruit a second standing army. We'll see.
Once more, another turn has passed, for the arrow of time moves ever onwards.
Right, so I've recruited a few more units. Nice. Lovely. I like completing missions, complete missions for recruiting units and capturing places, and okay. Wow, Wan Shao has totally betrayed our trust, rather than him also... You know, essentially what he said is, look, Hanfu, Gongsun Zan is going to war with you, and he's a crazy cavalry cat. I know you're thinking horse, but cat. Crazy cavalry cat. That's what he is, and he's coming down to get you, and either you peaceably join me so I can protect you, or you're gonna be cavalry catted. And he, being a man who does not want to be cavalry catted, has joined up with Wan Shao. So Wan Shao swindled us, and in the process has peaceably gained territory. So it's a good job, I think, that we've started building up our resources, because it's on. It is on. The race for the north is on. We've got to fast forward. I think this will be for the next episode. We'll have fully recruited this army, and we'll be in a position to take that port to the south, and then, you know, whatever enemies await us down there or not, we'll deal with it as it comes up. But that's it for me this episode. I've had fun recording this. So I'm not sure if the format's right. Let me know. I mean, let's be honest, no one's actually going to watch this, so what does it matter? I'm only doing it for my personal enjoyment. But I like this game, and hopefully I'll make some more of these. I had fun. And I'll maybe see you on the next one.
He